time aside in a very, very busy day. I know everyone's got a lot on their plate, especially people that are growing, doing different things, new businesses. You're very busy, but I wanted to first share my screen and share with you what we're going to be going over today. So everyone should be able to share my screen. Sherry, let me know if the situation is otherwise. All right, looks like it's good. Okay, so for those of you that are new to Trella, to me, my name is Aja Atwood. I'm the CEO and one of two co-founders of Trella Technologies. And we definitely want to make sure that we hold some space for our questions so that we can get you the answers that you're looking for. But for those people that are new or maybe don't know a lot about our background, our history, I wanted to spend some time talking about our past, also spend some time talking about our future, and then end it with talking about what we're asking for, why we need your help, the community's help. But one thing before we dig in, because we are doing what's called a regulated crowdfunding campaign, it's regulated by the SEC. And at this point right now, we are in what's called the testing the waters phase. So we have to let everybody know that we're testing the waters. We're not accepting money at this point right now. Once we get past our $50,000 goal, we will then file our paperwork with the SEC. It's called a Form C. We'll file our legal paperwork with the SEC, and then we can start accepting money. So right now, we're just looking for reservations to figure out what's the interest out there for people that want to become a financial partner in what we're trying to do. Okay, so without further ado, to go into our past, I'm now on our Wefunder page. We're at wefunder.com/Trella Technologies. And we'll drop a link to this in the chat. And we'll also have a link in the email as well so that you can see exactly what I'm seeing. All of the information that I'm going to show you today was all on that Wefunder page. So no need to take notes or to worry about missing something. Plus, we're recording it. So there's that as well. But we've been at this for a bit. Trello Technologies started back in 2016. Myself and one other co-founder, Andres Chamorro, got together and tried to solve a problem that I was having as a grower myself. I was growing cannabis as a medicinal patient in the state of Massachusetts. I traveled a lot at the time. I was away from my plants for several days at a time, sometimes a full week. And I had a way to automate my lights. I had a way to automate my nutrients and my water delivery systems and temperature in the room, but I could not figure out how to control the height of the plant and stop them from growing into the lights when I was gone for a long duration. So did some investigating and found that there weren't any solutions out there that would allow somebody to manage their growth unless they're there every day. You had to do it by hand. That's what all the existing methods were. It's just doing it by hand. So I said, I wonder if this is something that we can do. And that's what started Trella Technologies. We spent the first 2 years, 2017 and 2018, really just working on the method and the design and trying to figure out how can we do this? How can you automatically train a plant to grow in one direction without causing too much stress and causing damage to the plant? It took us about a couple of years. During that time period, we also made sure that we protected and solidified our intellectual property. We went out and we got a provisional patent. That was way back in 2017. And in 2018, we were able to switch that to a full utility patent application. So we applied for our patents in 2018. And once we had that kind of solidified, that's when we shared our idea with the world. So in 2017, 2018 was mostly design work. By mid 2018, it was time to share it with the world. So we went out to events. We did several trade shows. Some of you probably met, myself or Dre at some of the trade shows that we did in 2018. And we really did that to get market feedback, to figure out what do people think about this and what are we missing and maybe there's something that we haven't thought about. And we got some really great feedback, which caused us in 2019 to do several things. So in 2019, the task was redesign our existing design to match what people were asking for while we were out there getting market feedback. And then the second thing that we did is we started our first regulation crowdfunding campaign. on Start Engine. So some of you that were, some of you on this call were probably a part of that, and we thank you very much for being investors and helping us to get to this point. But in March of 2019, we launched our first regulation crowdfunding round on Start Engine. And that was really to help us get through this redesign phase. At that point, we were also working with contract manufacturers. So we were building and designing with the intent to work with a contract manufacturer. In 2019, we had our 5th version built. Late 2019, we also won a competition. We won the Boston University Cannabis Startup Competition and received some money for that. We won $10,000, and that was really helpful. That created a buzz for us, and we also received an invitation to pitch our idea at South by Southwest in 2020. So we were slated, and I say were because you know it's coming. We were slated in 2020 to go to South by Southwest to pitch. And as we all know, the pandemic started and a lot of things changed. Our access to our contract manufacturer was no longer solidified. The ability to go to South by Southwest to share our story, to find additional investments, that was no longer a possibility. So we had to think quickly and on our feet and decided that, it was time to pivot. So 2020 was a time period for us to look at what we want to do, reset, and pivot. So what we decided to do at that point was to tweak our design so that we could assemble in-house and not have to rely on a contract manufacturer. There's a lot of uncertainty out there right now, even with supply chain issues. So we were very concerned about having to work with somebody who was located somewhere else. What if we couldn't get to them? What if their employees couldn't be at that location? That could potentially impact Trella. So we decided to bring it back in-house so that we could assemble it. That took some redesign, that took some effort. And that was the bulk of 2020 and some of 2021. We also spent the later part of, I would say, actually in 2021, that's when we actually started with our app development and our database development. So that was something that we accomplished in 2021. The biggest accomplishment in 2021, on top of getting the app developed, was that we finally received our US patent. Our US patents were officially awarded. We have a patent number with the US Patent Office. That happened in January of 2021 of this year, which really helped us to be able to go out and start sharing this more and showing more of the product and really pushing that marketing to the next level. And we were on the hunt for research and development partners at that point. And I'll talk a lot more on the next few slides about our R&D partners, so please stay tuned for that. Once we developed our patent, we were able to complete and finalize our Start Engine round. So we stopped that regulation crowdfunding round in February of this year, and we were able to raise $360,000. So, and this is something that might be key for individuals. You may be wondering how much capital do we have, or how much capital have we used to get to this point? Well, we started out with the co-founders, myself and Dre, coming up with approximately $100,000 out of our own pockets to get us to, a certain point. And then we relied on the community and Start Engine to get us to the next point. So we're looking at approximately $460,000 that we had to work with to get us all the way through multiple designs, getting a patent. And we also, I forgot to mention, we also have patents pending in 2 other countries as well. So it's not just the US that we're looking at this from a global perspective. All right, so who are we? It's myself, Aja Atwood, and my co-founder, Andres Chamorro Dre. Dre has an incredible background from the medical device industry, specifically with robotics. He's got a lot of patents that have already been issued. He's got a lot more patents that are pending. I believe when I spoke to him, it says 39 here, but I think he's closer to about 40 patents pending at this point right now. Incredible individual, very smart, and really helped us to solidify the foundation of the design. The rest of the team has been incredibly valuable for us as well. I mean, you may see my face a lot, but there's a lot of other people that have helped us to get to this point. We've got several individuals on our team that help us with community engagement, social media. Product development, we have an electronic design engineer that came on in late 2020. We have software engineers that came on in 2021 to help us to get that software and app aspect completed. But we also we decided in early 2021 to become a benefit corporation. Previously to that, we were an LLC, but in February of 2021, we changed our entity with the state of Massachusetts to be a formal benefit corporation. And with that change, we needed to create a board. So we went out and started to find and identify individuals that would be part of our board. So you can see on the left on the screen right here that our board consists of Beth Waterfall, who is known in the cannabis space. She helps us with public relations and is also known as our benefits director. Our other pending board member is Nikken Navarro. She helps us with strategic community collaborations. You may have also seen some information about Nikia as the co-founder and president of Building Audacity, which is a nonprofit organization. And she's also the president and founder of the John Charles Academy, which is a school that we do R&D partnerships with, and that I also spend some time with the children there teaching hydroponics. So Nikia is coming on board as well. We also brought on Abdo Riani. He joined us in 2021, but Abdo and I connected in 2019, and he brings that sales and marketing strength that we really, really desperately needed, and we're still building on that aspect. But you may have noticed that we've got a lot more emails coming out now, and we're starting to get our feet under us when it comes to our marketing strategy, and he's been crucial and helpful with that. Last but not least, we also have Shalene Title, who was the former commissioner, one of the commissioners for the Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission. So she was one of the inaugural commissioners and stepped away from that role, and I believe it was 2020, if I'm correct. And Shalene and I met way back in 2015, before I even started this journey. And she's been a part of it. We've kept in touch, and she's very proud of what we're doing and is thrilled to be a part of this. So she's also agreed to be a board member, not just an advisor, but a board member as well. So we're thrilled to have these individuals. Let me speed up so that we have some time for Q&A. Lastly, or not lastly, but soon to be last, our R&D partnerships. Who are we working with? We developed partnerships with several different individuals and organizations. The first was Terrapin Farms. That's a hemp farmer here in Massachusetts who did what we call our Mother Plant Health Initiative. We also are working with several other organizations. Building Audacity, which I mentioned earlier, we're working with them to help figure out ways that they can diversify the types of food that they're growing in their hydroponic lab. Right now, they're starting with a school. They have a hydroponic farm there, and they're interested in figuring out how can they take their hydroponics lab to the next level, and we're partnering up with them to help them with that. We also have a pending partnership with the Turtle Mountain Band, the Chippewa tribe. We had a chance to go out there early 2021, meet with them. They have a lot of needs that we can help with, not just cannabis, but also on the food side of things. So we're really thrilled to be working with the tribe. And last but not least, we also have the University of BC, their Center of Urban Ag. They're looking to also diversify the types of plants that they're growing. And we're going to be helping them out as well in 2022. So the last two partnerships will start January of 2022. And the first two partnerships are in process right now. So finally, what are we trying to do? What's our ask? Well, when I spoke at MIT way back in 2017, I had the chance to speak at MIT about what we wanted to do. And I wasn't really able to share a lot, but I did want to explain to people that there's a lot of technology that's coming out of the cannabis space, which is great, but that technology, all of that stuff can be used for food production as well, which is really, I think, where the bigger need is to make sure that we can feed everybody, we can heal everyone, and we can feed everyone. They're all important. So we're starting with cannabis, but that's not where that's not our intent. Our ultimate goal is to figure out ways to grow food in transit, to come up with solutions where you could see food growing in rail cars as they travel across the country, food growing in cargo ships as they travel across the ocean to help to reduce that carbon footprint. A lot of our food builds up a lot of carbon footprint during that transportation aspect. So if we could grow and transport, we can help to put a dent in that. So what do we need to get there? We need more money. We need more funds. First, we need to enhance our sales and marketing strategy. Second, we need to get a better place for manufacturing and production. Right now, I'm in our shop, which works great for what we're doing right now. But if we want to be able to provide inventory for our partners like the Turtle Mountain Band, the Chippewa Tribe, they have very large orders that they're asking for. University of DC, that's another large opportunity. We have to get ourselves together and get ourselves into a brick and mortar location where we can do this at scale. And then lastly, because this is something that we see growing and developing for years to come, there's lots of ideas and things that we want to do off of this first product. We need money for R&D. We want to expand into food and make sure that we have, our I's dotted and our T's crossed when it comes to growing things like hops, tomatoes, melons, and not just cannabis and hemp. So that is the ask. I'm on the Wefunder page. So what you could do after you're done with this presentation, you could go to wefunder.com, Trella Technologies, and scroll down and see everything that I just talked about and a lot more. And then if it feels right to you, please, we would ask for a reservation to get us to that $50,000 goal so that we can file our paperwork with the SEC and continue to our ultimate final goal of 2.5 million. So I will stop. I've taken up a bit of time, but we can open it up for questions. What is the testing the waters phase? Seems to be a question. Okay. So testing the waters is a way, so with regulation crowdfunding, the SEC requires you to file legal paperwork. That legal paperwork requires a lawyer. Lawyers require money. So there's a significant upfront cost to start raising money with regulation crowdfunding. So what they decided to do to help companies like ours and other companies that are startups and may not want to commit that amount of money unless they're sure they're going to raise a significant amount of money, they created what's called the testing the waters phase. And basically, it's just a way for us to connect with our existing contacts. So if you may have noticed, we haven't really shared this very loudly on our social media. We've been doing a lot of this through our email marketing campaign because we have to really kind of stick with our existing contacts at this phase. Once we get through 50,000, we can then file our paperwork and get out of that testing the waters phase and get into the real raising phase where we're able to accept money. If you've made a reservation, this is another question that just came in. If you made a reservation, you can definitely make an additional one. You can go in and go to your portfolio. So if you're seeing my screen, hopefully you still are. If you go in, go to log in, there'll be a section that's called portfolio. Click that and you'll see your existing reservation and you can go in and edit that amount as well. All right. Tell more about the app. Would love to. Let me scroll down. Okay. So yes, data is important. We want to learn from this process, not just grow big plants horizontally. So one of the things that we're developing is the ability to track the growth rate and compare it to the environmental conditions like the temperature, humidity, CO2, and a few other things that we're going to be adding on in our future plans. The goal is to figure out how fast can we get through that vegetative process? How quickly can we, what we call, grow a canopy, develop that canopy? And the quicker you do that, the more harvest you'll have throughout the year. So there's the added benefit of being able to get through that vegetation cycle quicker, so you can get to the harvest point quicker, so that you can turn your plants faster and get more yield. So that's the other added benefit. The app will be for the this first year, the basic app will be free. There will be a subscription charge after that. We have some additional things that we want to add to the app and some other features, but we want to first show everybody what we're doing with the basic app and get some feedback and then develop it from there. We are in the process of developing a video that shows you the app, shows you the features of the app, and you'll be able to check that out on social media, and we'll also send that out via email as well when we have that ready. So you'll be able to actually see the app doing its thing. Okay, what is a safe and how does it turn into equity? Okay, so we did a video about this, so you can feel free to check that out. I think it's on our YouTube, but also I do not mind, sharing again. A safe is like, well, let me start with a convertible note because that's what we did in Start Engine. In Start Engine, we did what's called a convertible note. So it's basically we were asking people to loan us money, and in exchange for that loan, we would give them some interest and eventually give them some equity at a certain date. With a safe, it's a little bit different. A safe is not a loan. We're basically saying we're asking for money and you will get equity. The reason why there's a delay in getting equity is we don't want to we don't want to calculate or we don't want to say what our valuation is at this point. We have so much more that we want to add. We have our patent, but our true value is still in process. So for startup companies like ours that are still building, still getting all their ducks in a row, you may not want to say, hey, my value is, for example, 20 million. It could be higher, it could be lower. So what we're doing is we're delaying that process of saying what our true value is by using a safe. So essentially what happens is we'll receive, investment income from people like you on this call. We'll have that documented in a safe. And when a larger investor comes in, or if we get acquired, that will dictate what the value is. A larger investor comes in, they're going to say, here's the value that we want to use, and we'll negotiate that and we'll come up with a number that will then be the value. That's when things will turn into equity. The other option is that things that we get acquired, or we merge, or we go public. All of those require a value as well. And when we have that value, that's when everything turns into equity. So safes have been around for a while. They were created specifically by two women in Silicon Valley that were looking for ways to help startups find solutions to get equity when they weren't quite ready to talk about their value. The other thing is doing an equity play requires a lot of legal costs as well. It could be around $20,000 for that. So that's another way to offset the cost. Is there a contribution limit for non-accredited investors or a minimum for accredited investors? Great question. So there's a minimum for all investors, and that's just $250 for our offering. The contribution limit for non-accredited investors is based on your income, and we can, Sherry, I don't know if you want to sidebar this question because I want to give more detail to it and do some research before I answer it fully. But if you're a non-accredited investor, which basically means you don't have a certain net worth financially, the term is, I have my own issues with the term accredited versus non-accredited. But unfortunately, non-accredited investors have limitations on how much they can invest. So it's based on your income and what your worth is. And there's a certain equation for that. So I want to look that up and get that to you. For accredited investors, there is no, the only minimum is 250. There's no maximum. Okay. Any other questions? Comments? Just give it another minute just in case someone's typing. All right, well, I'll stop sharing in the meanwhile. Is that it, Sherry? I think that might be it.
I'm sorry, I'm just getting something in right now. Lots of really, I'll tell you, lots of encouragement. And I just want to thank everybody for these awesome, awesome comments that I'm trying to make sure that we can keep them all. But thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. We do have one more question. How to apply for accredited investors? How to apply for accredited investor? Yes.
So when you go to Wefunder, they take care of all of that for you. So you can create an account in Wefunder. They'll ask for some personal, information. If you are investing over, I believe it's $5,000. It could be one, but if you're investing over a certain amount, they're going to ask for your social security number and more information, and if you're an accredited investor or not. So check that out. If you have any more questions, the other thing I wanted to show you really quickly before I go, this is one thing I forgot to do. So on the Wefunder page, if you go to the page and you have a question, this is the best place to ask it, is on the page. There's a section right here called Ask Question. I'll click on that. And you can type in your question and submit, and then we will reply. We also have on this section here a company FAQ. So some of the questions that come in that are consistent, well, you'll see some answers there as well. So definitely check out the company FAQ. The other thing that you could do if you've already reserved and you want to figure out a way to do more and spread the word and help us out, check out the What People Say section. There's a couple of people that have graciously entered in some comments and have put and given us some words of encouragement. If you have anything you'd love to share, please feel free to share it there as well. And I think we have another question, one final question. Will your team be at Nikken? Yes, I will be at Nikken. I'm presenting. It'll be a session about sustainability and climate change and how climate change impacts indoor farming. So I'm really looking forward to sharing my expertise from that perspective. And if you're going to be there, please make sure that you stop by. I think I go on Saturday at 2 p.m. Chicago time. So if you're there, please stop by and say hello. All right.
I believe that's the last question.
Okay.
If anybody thinks of anything, please feel free to pop it into that Ask a Question bit on the Wefunder page. You can also go to our website, and there's, if you would like to directly email me, I believe it's email us at trella.io if you prefer to do that. But we're here and we will answer all of your questions. We so appreciate that you took time out of your day to be here. All of those wonderful words of encouragement are just so touching, and really, really appreciate the support. And I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And we will definitely let you know when that video is up. Is that correct, Aja? We're going to put it right on the Wefunder page.
We're going to put it on the Wefunder page and probably in a couple of other areas, but it'll definitely be on the Wefunder page. So check it out there.
Yep. All right. Excellent. Well, thank you all. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We're definitely grateful for every single one of you. Thank you so much. And be well, and we will be in touch.
Yep. Stay lifted, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.